In this video, a university athlete and nursing student approaches a mental health nurse. Feeling overwhelmed by the challenge of balancing academics, sports, and social pressures. They share that the stress of trying to excel in all areas has led them to use Adderall to cope with their busy schedule. Although they want to break this cycle, they express a sense of being lost, fearing that without it, they won't meet the expectations they've set for themselves, or those they believe others have of them. By combining person-centered therapy, PCT, with cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, the nurse will offer a holistic therapeutic approach. PCT focuses on creating a supportive and non-judgmental environment, allowing the student to freely explore their feelings and experiences. The mental health nurse will adopt a non-directive approach, encouraging the student to express themselves without pressure. This fosters a sense of understanding and validation, as the nurse shows genuineness, unconditional positive regard, and empathy. As the session progresses, the nurse will pivot to CBT, providing practical strategies to help the student identify and challenge negative thought patterns. This combination will allow the nurse to address the student's emotional needs while equipping them with effective tools to navigate their challenges and enhance their overall well-being.
This video aims to acknowledge the importance of therapeutic interventions and communication within the context of counseling and nursing practice. The purpose of this assignment is to demonstrate the use of counseling theory and therapeutic communication skills as a nurse in a therapeutic counseling session. Through this assignment, we will learn our strengths and weaknesses as nurses regarding our role as counselors in practice and be able to set goals for our future practice. Effective communication and counseling skills are essential in nursing as they foster trust and build relationships between nurses and patients, enabling personalized care. By actively listening and providing emotional support, future nurses can help alleviate patients' anxiety and encourage them to participate in their health management. Communication can also encourage patients to be more open to help in the future, while also taking responsibility for their own health status before symptoms can become worse.
Hello Paris, my name is Louisa. I'm a mental health nurse and I'm going to be here to help you today.
Hi.
I just wanted to let you know that it is confidential and I'm not going to be sharing this information with anyone else. How do you feel about being here today?
I'm a little bit nervous and definitely was hesitant to come, but I'm here.
How would you like to use our time together?
I want to talk about I've been struggling a lot with balancing school and hockey as well as my social life, and I just feel like I need someone to talk to about that.
I'm really glad that you're here and you're asking for help with this. Can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on?
Definitely I feel some stress, nervous, anxious, those kind of feelings.
Okay. How do those emotions affect you day to day?
I definitely feel those emotions quite a bit, and I feel like they weigh me down day to day for sure and definitely affect the way I'm functioning.
That sounds really stressful. How have you been managing with all of this?
Honestly, not very well. I feel like there's so much on my plate in school. It's just so stressful. It's making me almost angry, nervous. I just have so many classes, so many assignments due, so many midterms. Like last week I had like 3 midterms and I didn't do very good on any of them, and that's really been affecting me, and I'm not usually one to be like that, so it's hard for me. Clinical is another thing that just adds to my plate. So I have to do 12-hour shifts, and that, as you know, like 12 hours takes a lot of my time of the day away. I don't have time to study, I don't have time to work on assignments or prepare for classes, so that in itself just adds so much stress to me, and it's almost like I don't even feel that stress at clinical. It's the stress about knowing what I'm missing out on getting to do and prepare for school that creates so much stress for me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big things with school, and then on top of that I have hockey. So like that's just extra hours in my week that I'm spending on not school. So I practice 3 times a week early in the morning, so I'm missing out on times I could be studying in the morning. Then I lose my weekends for games and volunteering, and that's like a huge time where I should be able to do my school. So I just feel like I love hockey, obviously, but it takes a lot of the time away that I could be doing school, which generates a lot of stress. And then also like I have teammates who are in other classes, like not nursing, so they don't have clinical, they don't have labs, they just have classes. So I feel like I kind of envy them almost. They don't have as much work to do as I do. They're not on the bus doing work the entire time, and I kind of just wish that I didn't have as much stress and as much things on my plate, kind of.
Yeah, that situation can be really difficult to navigate.
Another thing that I've kind of been struggling with is my social life. So with my teammates, they like to go out and like party after our games kind of thing, and they don't really realize like how much I have on my plate, how busy school is for me, because it's not like that for them. And they're always like constantly like egging me on, you know, telling me, oh, I need to come out. If you're not, you're like a loser, whatever, you're not going to be a good part of the team kind of thing. And like I really take that to heart. I don't want to miss out, but I obviously know I have these certain things I need to do for school. But at the end of the day, I usually end up kind of like falling into that, and I do usually end up going out with them and partying. And I feel like lately I've kind of gotten to a cycle where I've been going out and partying when I know I shouldn't and I have school to do. And it's just like a vicious cycle of me going out, not getting my school done, being more stressed, going out again, not getting my school done. And that's part of the reason why I kind of wanted to come here to talk today.
That can be a lot to balance at the same time. I can see why you're struggling.
Yeah, it's been really hard trying to balance it all. I'm just so exhausted and stressed, and just constantly having that stress and nerves in the back of my mind. It's been really hard. I've tried ways to kind of cope with this, and it's just nothing's really been working. Honestly, the real reason I wanted to come here, it's really hard to talk about, but I know as like a nursing student, like I need to get ahead of this problem before it gets any worse. I started trying Adderall, kind of to help me with my stress and my nerves and getting on top of things. And at the start, it was just, you know, a little bit just to kind of help me get on top of things. But now I feel like I'm almost using it a little too much, and I'm becoming almost like dependent on it. And it kind of scares me a little bit that I am using it like this. And I just, yeah, that's kind of the reason I came today.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
I realize that taking Adderall is not good for me, but I just feel like with everything that I'm balancing, you know, getting homework in on time, hockey, performing at my best, I just don't know how I'm going to be able to function without it. I feel like I have to be giving all my energy, all my effort to all three of these aspects of my life, and I just, without Adderall, I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do that. I don't want to disappoint anyone. I want to make sure that I'm giving all my effort to everything, and I'm not a disappointment, you know, I'm not an embarrassment to my hockey team or whatever. So I'm really struggling with how am I going to be able to do the things I'm doing right now when I take away Adderall.
So what's motivating you to always give all of your effort?
I guess it's kind of just like the pressure that's put on me by like my coaches, my parents, instructors, my teammates. I feel a lot of that pressure, and I don't want to disappoint them.
In what ways do you feel like you're disappointing them?
I feel like if I don't put all my effort into things, they're going to view me as a failure. And in turn, that's going to make me view myself as a failure. And I just think about all the effort my coaches have put into me, all like the time and money my parents have put into my education, all those things. If I'm not giving it all my best, those are kind of just put to waste almost. And at the end of the day, it would just make me feel like I failed.
So you feel like if you don't use Adderall, you're not able to give 100%, and that makes you feel like a failure.
Yeah.
In what ways do you feel like if you're not giving 100%, you're failing? Why don't you reframe the question and ask, in what ways you're successful without using Adderall? For example, have your teammates ever told you were a failure because you didn't give 100% and score a goal?
No one's ever said that to me. I think maybe my teammates value me more as like a positive person, or the personality I bring to the team. I guess less of what I do in terms of my skills.
Have your professors ever called you a failure because you didn't get 100% on your midterm?
No.
Have your professors ever given you any positive feedback?
Yeah, a lot of my professors say they appreciate when I participate in class discussions.
It sounds like you understand all the positive ways that others view you. How can we change how you feel about yourself to view yourself in a more positive light?
I'm not really sure.
Let's use reframing to view this in a different way.
So what is reframing?
Reframing involves changing your perspective on certain situations. So what we're going to work on is reframing your thoughts about you being a failure and changing it into something more positive. Let's use an example to practice reframing. What example would you like to use?
Let's do school.
Okay, good. You said you had 3 midterms last week. How did your midterms go for you?
They were okay. I didn't do very good on one of them. I got a 70, which I was pretty disappointed in and definitely made me feel like a failure.
Okay, so let's reframe that thought. So instead of thinking that you failed because you got a 70, reframe it and think of it as you knew 70% of the course material.
That's a really good way to think about it. I've never thought of it like that.
Another way to reframe your marks is you could think that you have 30% area for growth going into your final.
Okay.
Now let's think about Adderall. Remember how you were saying you need Adderall in order to achieve and succeed everything that you want to. Can you give me an example of how you would reframe that thought?
I could think about how I've been successful at times without it, or how I can be successful without it.
That's a great idea.
From what we've been talking about, I'm starting to see that maybe I don't need to achieve 100% in order to stop feeling like a failure. And maybe I don't need Adderall in order to succeed. I just need to change my thinking to recognize that my worth means more than my achievements.
It's great that you've recognized that your worth isn't solely based on your achievements.
Yeah.
So would it work if going forward, when you feel like you are really stressed out and need to use Adderall to cope, you reframe your thoughts and think about all the ways that you're succeeding instead of the ways that you're failing?
I think that could work.
One thing that could help you going forward is a mindfulness workbook. In this mindfulness workbook, it gives you education on how to reframe your thoughts and activities to help you de-stress.
Okay. I think this can help.
Okay, I think we should meet back next week. I'd like you to bring your workbook back so we can discuss what methods worked best for you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you for being really vulnerable with me today. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before you leave?
No, I don't think so. I think this conversation has really helped me, and I'm excited to work on this workbook and see what I can do.
Okay, see you next week.
Throughout this assignment, we learned the importance of using counseling theories to create a safe and supportive space during difficult times. These theories also help us structure a counseling session, allowing us to engage effectively and gather the necessary information to develop specific targeted interventions. 2 situations our group found to be difficult that we would like to work on is 1. Becoming comfortable with silence. Our group has learned throughout working on this assignment, silence is a very important therapeutic communication skill, but can bring on feelings of uncomfortableness for the interviewer. 2. Emotional regulation. Keeping composed and professional emotions during difficult times is important as it is essential for effective, compassionate, and ethical counseling.